Hi everyone, this is Kalyan Kumar this side and welcome back to Chemistry Universe. This is video number 7, part 7 of carboxylic acids. And in this, we're going to talk about the heating of beta keto acids, dicarboxylic acids, hydroxy acids, halocarboxylic acids. So, we've been doing rather the several chemical reactions of carboxylic acids. And once we are able to finish off this particular video and perhaps the next one where we discuss about formic acid, then we'll be able to do acid derivatives. So with that, let's begin this video. So let's get on with the video, and we are looking at part 7. The first is beta keto acids. We have done this, if you remember, in the preparation of alkanes. We did what happens when you have a beta keto acids. They easily decarboxylate to give you CO2. So you just don't even need soda lime for this. You simply heat it, and the COH part will go, the CO2 will go, and the H will attach to the CH2, and you will get the ketone. The next one is a similar one. It's called the heating of dicarboxylic acids. We have discussed this. We had discussed this in the preparation of ketones. In fact, we had said that if you have two carboxylic acid, if you have a dicarboxylic acid, and there are n number of CH2s in between, then you can get a variety of compounds depending on the value of n. You can get an anhydride. You can get a ketone. You can get I think it will be one COH here, and this should be in fact n minus 1, I guess. Yeah. And you can even get an alkane. You can get an alkane, and this would definitely be n minus 2. Okay, so you can get any of these depending on the value of n. So we've already discussed this, and we had discussed the heating of dicarboxylic acids in preparation of ketones, and the previous one we had discussed that in alkanes. Now we talk about alpha, beta, gamma hydroxy carboxylic acids, and then this is going to be real fun. Alpha, beta, hydrox or gamma hydroxy carboxylic acids. Let's understand what they are. Look at this molecule. If you look at this one, there are 4 CH2s and the last one is attached to OH. That means there are 3 more. And you have COH. So this is your alpha carbon, beta carbon, gamma carbon, and this is delta carbon. So in fact, we should also have a delta here. So if I have a delta, because this one is delta. So if I have a delta carbon here, now what do you think will happen on heating? So ask yourself, what happens when you have acid, carboxylic acid and alcohol? What do they give you? Carboxylic acid and alcohol. What do they give you? So carboxylic acid and alcohol give you ester, right? Now here in the same molecule, you have a carboxylic acid, and in the same molecule, you have an alcohol. So they are going to combine together to form a ester intramolecularly. And how do we form the ester? It's pretty simple. OH of the alcohol goes, rather H of the alcohol goes, OH of the acid goes. Of course, one may wonder what difference does it make. It will make a difference if the O is labeled. So the H of OH goes, the OH of COH goes as water, and this O connects with this carbon. So if you take this carbon, this O as number 1, number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can you see I'll get a 6-membered ester, cyclic ester? And this is what I will get. And cyclic esters, that means esters which are embedded in a ring, they are called lactones. And since here the O was attached to the delta carbon, we call it delta lactone. Now imagine that I remove one CH2 from here. One CH2 only. Means I have that means there are only totally 3 CH2s. So one of them attached to OH, other two as it is, and you have a COH. What do you think will happen now? Well, if you use the same logic, I'll get the OH from here and the H from here. So this O goes to this carbon, and since it is one carbon less, wouldn't you get a 5-membered ring? And 5-membered rings are pretty stable. So you can get a 5-membered lactone, which is called the gamma lactone. Now let's decrease one more CH2. So now I have CH2OH, CH2, COOH. What do you think will happen now? Now if it were to form an ester, it will be a 4-membered ring, and 4-membered ring are not stable enough to form that easily. And therefore you will find that in this case you will not get an ester. In fact, it will dehydrate, because remember you're heating it. So it will take one H and the OH from here, it will form a double bond, and that too will be conjugated with this double bond, which will make it stable enough to form. So if you heat a beta hydroxy carboxylic acid, you will get unsaturation there. It is alpha beta unsaturated acid. Now remove one more carbon. That means now you have only one carbon with OH, which is the alpha carbon. What do you think will happen now? Again, intramolecular ester, 3-membered ring won't form. It cannot even eliminate. What will it do? This is the beauty of this reaction. What it does is, it meets another molecule of this kind, such that the C double bond OH aligns like this, and its OH aligns like this. This alcohol and this acid will form an ester, and this acid and this alcohol will form an ester. So this goes away. This goes away. What will you get? You'll get 1, 2, one of these O's 3, 4, 5, and another one O here 6. You'll get a 6-membered diester. Now I want you to yourself make this and check whether you're able to get this one. This is the 6-membered diester you'll get. And diesters, cyclic ones, are called lactides. So I want you to check this on your own and see if you can make this. And then comes heating halocarboxylic acids. Same alpha, beta, gamma, delta also. So again, I have delta bromine. And I just don't heat it, I add base to it and then I heat it. What do you think will happen? You'll get this again. Why? Because this NaOH is going to remove this H, because it's an acidic H, this minus, and this acts as a nucleophile, attacks the carbon, and bromine leaves, giving you again a delta lactone. Very similar to the hydroxy one. Now some people have this notion that this OH minus will first substitute this bromine, because it's a good leaving group bromine, OH minus is a good nucleophile, and you'll get the previous reactant and then it'll give you a delta lactone. No. Remember, whenever a strong base finds an acidic H in a system, its first primary concern is to get rid of that H. Its ability to behave as a nucleophile only comes when all acidic H are removed. So when NaOH finds a carboxylic acid, it is simply going to make it into a carboxylate ion. Now what happens to the carboxylate ion later is a different thing. But its first job would be to replace the H with the Na. Alright, let's remove one more carbon. What do you think will happen? Well, you guessed it right. Again, it will become O minus, it will remove the bromine, you will get the gamma lactone. What do you think will happen if it is beta? Now, again, the OH minus will remove the H from the alpha carbon. Remember, there are two CH2s here. Now, Obviously, it will remove this H first. Once this H is gone, it will remove this. And there will be elimination happening. Again, you will get alpha, beta, unsaturated. Instead of acid, you get an acid ion because remember, you are having a base. And what happens when you do it to an alpha? Very simple. It will first of all replace the H and then do nucleophilic substitution on bromine, and therefore you'll get this alpha hydroxy carboxylate ion. This is what you get. And with that, we come to the end of this part, which was heating of beta keto acids, dicarboxylic acids, and hydroxy acids and halocarboxylic acids. So I hope this video helped you in learning these reactions, and just keep making notes. And remember, all these are in continuation. So, which is why I numbered all the reactions consecutively so that you can see how many reactions we have already done. And with that, this is Kalyan Kumar signing off. Have a great and wonderful day, and thank you for watching this.